Hey there, beautiful Aries souls and fearless fire starters. Welcome back to Astrology Unlocked, your sacred space for diving deep into the cosmic currents that are shaping your incredible journey. I am your guide, and if you have found your way here to this exact message at this exact moment, I want you to know it is no accident. There is a reason your spirit led you here. It's because you've been feeling it, haven't you? That subtle, almost imperceptible shift in the world around you. A change in the tone of a voice you know so well. A strange and unfamiliar distance where there was once an easy closeness. You are not imagining this, my dear Aries. It is as real as the fiery spirit that beats within your heart. People are indeed acting differently towards you. And if you're listening now, it's because this question has been echoing in the quiet corners of your mind, a persistent whisper that has begun to steal your peace. This feeling, this question of why has likely sent you down a spiral of self-doubt. It's been making you question every recent action, every word you've spoken. Did I do something wrong? Was I too blunt? Was my passion too much? Is there some fundamental flaw in me that everyone can see, but I cannot? Before that thought can take root and grow any deeper, I want you right now to take a deep breath and let me stop you. This is not about you having done something wrong. This has absolutely nothing to do with you having any flaws. In fact, what is happening is the complete and total opposite. And the truth of it is something so powerful, so magnificent, it will change everything. If you are feeling this shift, let our tribe know in the comments below by typing, "I feel the change." You are not alone on this path. And if you haven't already, now is the perfect moment to subscribe to Astrology Unlocked and join our community, because your journey of transformation is just beginning. And we are here to walk it with you every single step of the way. What I am about to share with you will completely reframe your perception of what is unfolding in your life. It will take that seed of insecurity you've been feeling and transform it into a profound, unshakable recognition of the incredible being you have become. Because the reason people are acting differently towards you, my dear Aries, is the most beautiful and surprising reason possible. You have ignited. You have evolved on such a deep soul level that your very energy, your entire vibrational signature now radiates with a completely new and blindingly bright intensity. And the people around you, they feel this fire, even if they lack the language to consciously understand what it is they are sensing. Can you feel the truth in this? Think about it for a moment. Have you noticed how someone who used to engage with your chaotic, beautiful energy now seems to choose their words so carefully, as if they are standing before a controlled, powerful flame they don't quite recognize? Do you see how certain people, individuals who once thrived on your spontaneous energy, now seem to find endless excuses to keep their distance, unable to stand the heat of your newfound purpose? And on the other hand, have you noticed how others, perhaps strangers or mere acquaintances, have strangely begun to treat you with a depth of respect, an almost reverent awe that they never showed you before? Do you feel how conversations that once flowed with easy, trivial chatter now seem charged, almost tense, as if there is a powerful, unspoken truth in the room that no one else has the courage to name? All of this, every single nuanced interaction, is happening for one reason and one reason only. You are no longer the same person you were 6 months ago, 3 months ago, or perhaps even just a few weeks ago. You have undergone a profound internal alchemy, a sacred transformation that has fundamentally altered your entire energetic frequency. And when your frequency shifts so dramatically, the universe around you has no choice but to respond. The people in your orbit must react to this change, often in ways they themselves cannot explain or control. Some are irresistibly drawn to the brilliant light of your new energy like moths to a sacred flame. Others feel deeply threatened by it, for your light illuminates the shadows they are not yet ready to face. Some are simply confused because the version of you they thought they knew, the one they could easily categorize and predict, is gone. And some, my dear Aries, are simply distancing themselves because the powerful, purposeful, and authentic new version of you no longer serves the role they needed you to play in their own story. Are you ready to dive deep and truly understand the magnificent being you have become and why your very presence is creating such powerful ripples in the world around you? Let me tell you something that is encoded into the very fabric of your soul, dear Aries. You have always been a pioneer, a leader, a trailblazer. You possess a natural gift for cutting through nonsense, for speaking truth, for taking courageous action while others hesitate. You have always had this almost supernatural ability to sense when a situation is stagnant, when words are hollow, when a path forward is being blocked by fear or falsehood. But for a very long time, perhaps for most of your life, you may have suppressed this gift. You felt the need to act, but held back. You saw the truth, but chose a more diplomatic, less confrontational path. You sensed the inauthenticity, but let it slide, all in the name of keeping the peace, of not rocking the boat, of not being perceived as too much. But something inside you shifted recently. A divine spark turned into a controlled inferno. You grew tired, so incredibly tired of pretending, tired of dimming your own brilliant light to make others feel more comfortable in their own shadows, tired of putting the brakes on your own powerful momentum just to maintain a superficial harmony, tired of shrinking your magnificent, expansive spirit to fit into the small, cramped boxes that others built for you. And the moment you stopped doing that, the moment you began to honor your sacred impulse for truth and to act in full alignment with your soul's purpose, your energy didn't just change, it erupted. You began to radiate such a profound and unapologetic authenticity that your very presence now functions as a cosmic catalyst, a walking embodiment of truth that forces everyone around you to confront their own. And that, my beautiful Aries, terrifies a great number of people. It is a startling truth that most people live their lives hiding. They hide behind masks of social convenience. They hide their true intentions behind carefully crafted words. They manipulate situations to get what they want without ever having the courage to be direct. And when someone like you appears on their path, someone who not only sees through the games, but who no longer has the time or the patience to play along, these people panic. They feel on a deep instinctive level that the game is up. They can no longer deceive you. They can no longer manipulate your good nature. They can no longer use your powerful energy for their own purposes while pretending to be your loyal friend or supporter. For Aries born between March 21st and March 31st, this energetic ignition has likely manifested in your sense of action and purpose. You've stopped chasing every shiny object and have instead begun to move with a powerful, focused intention, cutting away anything and anyone that distracts from your true mission. For those born between April 1st and April 10th, the transformation has occurred in your core identity and your role as a leader. You're no longer willing to lead in a way that pleases others. You are now leading from a place of pure, unadulterated soul truth, and you are unapologetic about the brilliant light you shine. And for those born between April 11th and April 20th, the change has been internal and spiritual, a massive expansion of your vision. You've connected with a purpose so profound and adventurous that it simply cannot be contained by the fears and limitations of those around you. But all Aries, every single one of you shares in one fundamental life-altering shift. You stopped adapting to please others. You stopped shrinking to fit in. You stopped apologizing for the magnificent intensity of your spirit. And you began finally to exist in the full, breathtaking glory of your potential. This inevitably and necessarily changed how everyone reacts to you. Because when you stop playing the social games that everyone else takes for granted, when you stop pretending not to see the inauthenticity, when you simply exist as a pillar of raw, unfiltered, fiery truth, you force the people around you to make a choice. There is no middle ground with you anymore. Either they rise to the occasion and meet you in that space of authenticity, or they retreat and distance themselves. Can you see, with your newfound clarity, that most are choosing to distance themselves because they simply do not have the courage to be as real, as vibrant, and as alive as you are now choosing to be? The reason this process can feel so painful at times is because you are in the midst of metabolizing a very difficult truth. Many of the relationships you believed were built on a foundation of genuine connection were in reality transactional. People were not connected to the magnificent truth of who you are. They were connected to what your energy did for them. They were drawn to your warmth, your vitality, your ability to make things happen. They connected with the benefits they reaped from your presence. And now that you've changed, now that you've built sacred boundaries around your energy, now that you are no longer available to be used as a battery pack for others, these people are revealing their true colors. That friend who always seemed to appear when they needed a dose of your motivation or a champion for their cause, but who was mysteriously absent when you needed support. They now act distant because they realize you are no longer a free source of rocket fuel for their own ambitions. That person in your life who always flattered you but subtly tried to compete with you or diminish your successes, they now show a poorly disguised resentment because they feel they've lost the ability to ride on your coattails or control your narrative. That family member who always expected you to be the initiator, the problem solver, the one to carry the emotional weight, they now treat you with a cold confusion because you have lovingly but firmly put down that burden and refused to carry what is not yours. And yes, that hurts. It hurts on a profound level to realize that many connections you valued were profoundly one-sided. That many people you considered vital to your life were only there so long as you served their needs. That many relationships you nurtured with your whole heart were only being sustained because you were willing to dim your own fire to keep them going. But here is the sacred truth you must understand, my dear Aries. This pain is a holy pain. It is a necessary part of the alchemical process of freeing yourself from the energetic patterns that kept you trapped in a smaller, less vibrant version of your true self. The energy you radiate now is that of a conscious creator, of someone who knows their own power and is no longer afraid to wield it with intention and purpose. It's the energy of someone who embodies truth and isn't afraid to speak it. It is the energy of someone who knows their infinite worth and will no longer accept a single ounce less than they deserve. And that, my friends, is incredibly threatening to people who were used to dealing with a more domesticated version of you. The version that was still trying to be nice, to be easy to deal with, to be less intense. You are no longer easy to deal with, not because you have become difficult or problematic, but because you have become uncompromisingly, magnificently authentic. And authenticity is a blinding light to those who have made a home in the shadows of their own self-deceit. Your very presence now acts as a cosmic mirror, reflecting back to people all the masks they wear, all the excuses they make, all the ways they have compromised their own soul's truth. And most people do not want to see that reflection. They would much rather distance themselves from your brilliant light than confront the truth of their own dimness. But here is where the true magic begins to unfold. This is the part that I want you to feel deep within your bones. While some people are drifting away, unable to withstand the radiance of your evolution, others are being drawn closer. Have you started to notice this yet? People you barely knew, perhaps from the fringes of your social circles, have started to seek out your company, wanting to have deeper, more meaningful conversations. Individuals who once seemed intimidated by your presence are now drawn to your energy, seeking your guidance, or simply wanting to be in your presence. Deeper, more authentic, and far more meaningful connections have begun to emerge from the most unexpected of places. This is not a coincidence, my dear Aries. This is the beautiful, immutable law of the universe in action. You attract what you are. When you were operating from a diminished, apologetic version of yourself, you attracted people who needed you to stay small. Now that you are operating from the full, unapologetic power of your true potential, you are attracting people who celebrate that power instead of feeling threatened by it. You are calling in your soul, tribe people who do not need you to dim your light for them to feel secure. People who see your intensity not as a flaw, but as a breathtaking gift. You may have also noticed that certain individuals, especially those who have always tried to control or manipulate you, have begun to demonstrate an almost desperate need to regain the power they feel they have lost over you. They might be trying to provoke you, to bait you into an old argument, to make you feel guilty for changing, or to accuse you of becoming selfish. They may even try to make you doubt your own sanity and perception. This is a classic tactic. When manipulators lose control, they don't give up. They intensify their efforts. The stronger and more centered you become, the more desperately they will try to knock you off balance. The more confident you are in your own truth, the more they will try to convince you that your perception is flawed. But here is the most crucial piece of wisdom I can offer you today. You do not need to engage. You do not have to defend yourself. You do not need to explain your evolution. You do not need to convince a single soul that your changes are positive and divinely guided. The people who truly matter, the ones who are meant to be on this next leg of your journey, will see your growth, and they will celebrate it with their whole hearts. Those who cannot see it, or who actively pretend not to, are simply revealing that they were never truly invested in your well-being, only in what they could get from you. The different way people are acting towards you also has another beautiful layer. You've stopped performing. For so long, you likely tried to appear less intense than you truly are, to seem more carefree, more normal. You carefully modulated your passion, your righteous anger, your boundless enthusiasm, all so you wouldn't overwhelm others. But this performance required an enormous constant expenditure of your precious life force energy. It was utterly exhausting to constantly measure and control the natural fiery expression of your soul. And recently, you made a soul-level decision to stop the performance. You decided that if your intensity is too much for someone, the problem is not your intensity. It is that person's limited capacity for depth. If your passion scares someone, it is not because you are excessive. It is because that person is accustomed to shallow, lukewarm connections. If your honesty makes them uncomfortable, It is not because you are rude, it is because they prefer to live in a world of comfortable illusions. When you stopped apologizing for the magnificent truth of who you are, something powerful happened. You became magnetic. Not to everyone, of course, but to the right people. Your unfiltered authenticity is a beacon that attracts others who are also tired of the games and the masks. Your emotional intensity calls forth those who have the courage to feel deeply and live passionately. Your radical honesty attracts those who value truth above all else. The people who are acting differently towards you are in reality giving you a profound gift. They are revealing who they always were. Those who distanced themselves were never ready for the real you. They were only comfortable with the edited, more palatable version you presented. Those who criticize you for changing are simply angry because you stopped serving their needs. Those who treat you with hostility are defending themselves against the brilliant mirror your authenticity holds up to their own falsehoods. But what about those who are approaching you now with genuine respect? Those who seek a deeper connection, who ask meaningful questions, who celebrate your transformation with joy in their eyes. Those, my dear Aries, are your people. Those are the connections that are worth nurturing, because they do not need you to be less for them to feel like more. They do not need you to hide your brilliant light, so they don't feel left in the shadows. Over the next few weeks and months, you will continue to see these shifts in the dynamics of your relationships. Some friendships will naturally and gracefully dissolve. Some family ties will be profoundly transformed. Some professional connections will be completely reorganized. And all of this might feel frightening at times, as if you are losing people who were once important to you. But what is truly happening is a sacred reorganization of your reality. You are lovingly releasing the relationships that were built upon the foundation of the old, limited version of yourself, and in doing so, you are creating the necessary space for new connections, to form connections that honor and celebrate the magnificent, authentic being you truly are today. Yes, there will be moments of loneliness during this transition. Moments where you will question if all this change was worth it. Moments where you might even miss the familiarity of toxic relationships because at least they were familiar. But I promise you this, the temporary loneliness of standing in your own authentic truth is infinitely better than the profound, soul-crushing loneliness of being surrounded by people who require you to hide who you really are. It is far better to walk alone for a time, but to walk in your own integrity than to be accompanied by a crowd that demands you live a lie. The deepest truth, my beautiful untamed Aries, is this: you have become a force of nature. You have finally and fully become who you were always meant to be. Powerful, authentic, indomitable, and utterly magnificent in your full blazing intensity. Embrace it, celebrate it, for your real journey has just begun.